Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are New Orleans TV Internetwork System, in case you've never joined us before. We've had sporadic broadcasting recently, especially due to that pandemic that really has caused us all confusion. But wanted to bring you a little bit up to date before we introduce today's program and guest. New Orleans TV and the network system is a internet system going throughout the world, and we broadcast live programs of 1 hour long, almost all guest dependent, where we share a guest's passion, talent, service, whatever, to the world, and we broadcast live on several platforms, of social media. Three of my Facebook, uh, the one that you're looking at, New Orleans Television and Network System, Bob Bockelman, my name, and the New Deal, which is our dinner club. It's also permanently kept as well as shown on the YouTube. My channel is R space REVUE. And also Twitter Live, where for some reason they transposed my name and it's Bockelman Bob. That's lovely. Anyway, enough about that. The important thing is we bring in-depth entertainment. We're not the 10-second TikTok or the 15-second Instagram, etc. All of our shows are live. We do present recorded broadcast after the show to both LinkedIn Live under my channel R and under Instagram. We don't always because they're very, very tricky, but definitely we'll do another tweet under the Twitter text program as well. So if you're a devotee of one of those two, you can't see us live, but you can click on the performance from the link that it will be on your timeline. Okay. A couple other things while the count is talking down. Ooh, it's getting close. 2 minutes. We have some great upscheduled broadcasts for those who haven't seen my latest post. Saturday, October 23rd. That's mañana here in New Orleans at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We will be doing our first in a long time remote broadcast live streaming of New Orleans only, to my knowledge, Halloween parade called the Crew of Boo. We have some very close friends who are charter members and who ride on that. And we're hoping to also get closer up of them so that way you can see them give us maybe some goodies. But I think you'll love it, and especially with Halloween only maybe a week away in your area and your children. It's a family program, so you can have everybody around there, put some popcorn on or whatever, or candy if they're allowed, to get in the ready for the upcoming Halloween parade. So that's Saturday, October 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So you have to adjust it by your schedule of your time zone. In addition to that, on Monday, so coming Monday, October 25th at 10 a.m. Central Time, we're bringing our let's see, it's our Chef's Chat USA. We have a great chef from Montana who's at a wonderful lake resort lodge that he chefs around there, and we're going to be seeing some of his dishes. I think it's a beautiful place. Montana's cold now, but at the same time, that doesn't mean its food isn't hot. And then lastly, right now on Wednesday, October 27th, and I believe it's at 10 a.m. Central Time, we'll be doing Artist Review. For those who've ever followed that, that's usually painters, but sculptors, anyone in the art field, we bring them on. And this is a Pennsylvania artist. So, okay, what we're going to do now is our clock is, I believe it's down. Let's see. Yeah, we got a few more seconds before we convert. You'll see the logo. The name of the show coming up is Reel, REEL Review. It's our specialty, homage to film, TV, actors, actresses, directors, etc. And we're going to tell you in a moment who's going to be appearing. So get ready. It's coming. We'll see you in less than 5 seconds. All right. Oh, we jumped ahead. We gave it away. This is what you should be looking at, folks. This is the logo of our little ant, Red Star Ant, who's doing film work today. So here's your ugly bug here of your host, Bob Bockelman, for those who can't believe you don't know the old man. But anyway, most important thing, let's introduce, and she's a, as I always say, lovely and talented actress, Dolores Wheeler. Good morning, Dolores.
Good morning.
Oh, great. I appreciate you getting up. I know you actors and actresses, maybe sometimes you're not up at this hour, but regardless, you look like you've been on set already all day. You look very proper. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Yeah, sometimes we do have odd hours. We might be up all night or have 14-hour days.
Well, you look great for it if you if you've had any of those. But why don't you tell us? I believe you're residing in Oklahoma. So tell us a little bit about yourself first of all, so the audience gets to know besides your, as they say, pretty face. Let's hear a little bit about your personal stuff, and then we'll talk about your career.
I was actually born in Texas, in the Fort Worth, Texas area.
Okay.
I moved lots of different places, and I was in LA, and I moved back to Oklahoma City because I have family here. And the film industry is taking off. It is awesome here. So I decided to stay. And there are dozens of movies being filmed right now. So they call it the Hollywood in the Heartland.
Okay, well, we're thrilled to hear that. As you know, we kind of was the Hollywood of the South, for a while, and then we lost it to Atlanta because of credits and politics, and then we're coming back as well. But until we spoke, I was very surprised to hear, and I'm glad because I know there's film festivals all over, but I didn't know there's actually film production in much broader spaces. So we're pleased, and we're going to talk more, folks, at the end when we finish going through all of Dolores's stuff that she's brought us about her own situation. But we will talk about Oklahoma and not only its industry, but some of the festivals that celebrate that industry. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself? And if not, why don't you tell us how you first got interested and knew that you were going to be a stage star and you were going to be out there in front of that camera? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was actually very, very shy. And in a school production, they literally had to push me on stage.
Sorry to
I
laugh, but
got
that's funny. Go ahead.
I got out there and I saw a sea of faces, and they were all so happy and clapping, and I got the bug. So I've been interested in it all these years. And of course, I was always at a movie theater every weekend, loved it. So it just becomes a passion.
Totally can understand. I do have to admit, we've heard some horror stories of children or really adults on their first stage or first filming that some of them actually got physically uncomfortable, not just
Not
nerves.
me.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and especially to hear that you were basically kind of introverted, because usually that's not the personality that goes directly into this. I mean, with intention as opposed to being found in a coffee shop or something like that. So that's really interesting that you felt enough courage and passion for what you were about to endeavor to actually make that bold move. So
Well, my parents were very involved in their church, and the church had a lot of productions, mainly musicals. So I got interested in that also. But you'll be surprised how many actors are basically very shy people.
it is amazing. You hear some stories, but you always think, oh, they're just going to say that. But then at the same time, they always are looking to have their privacy respected, which of course should be. And that's our problem of being not in the industry, that we want to know every move that someone on the screen makes, which is totally absurd. You don't do that even when your family to know every moment that a person does in your own family. So it's ludicrous and really we've seen just in some situations disastrous where these paparazzi or whatever you want to call them just cannot stop their obsession with obviously making money, not just the enjoyment of the person they're putting on there. So we don't want to talk about that. That's the negative part of the whole situation. Now, folks, you might see, for those who are familiar with us, and I know it's fine print and I can't read it, so I apologize. But on the bottom of the screen during the entire show, you will see Dolores's website. So that way you can reach her. Now, when we wrap up, after we go through all of her presentations, we will reiterate that for you. And in fact, what I might do is I'm going to try and see if I can change it and make it static. It'll hide my name and hopefully not hers. But that way you'll be able to get it down in case you need. Now, remember, the preliminaries of a website are really not necessary. In the old days, you had to type everything. Nowadays, you don't even have to type www. You just type the part after that. But you do need to do that to get to her website. So while we're doing this and when we actually start chit-chatting as we're about to do and looking at some of the work, I'll try and fix that so it won't be running across. But we will have it fixed for the end so that way you'll see it in larger print and she will actually vocalize it. Okay. Anything else you want to tell the folks about yourself or your career before we move and ask you about the first thing we're going to show? Anything else?
I'm also a writer, and we're about to segue into that.
No, yes, and because we're going to see that up front, some of the novels or novelettes, I'm not sure what they are, that you've presented and have authored, as well as I know you're really supporting the industry there in Oklahoma. So we're going to see after all your clips and trailers and discussion, some of the festivals or situations where you've been very active with that community to help support you and your fellow actors, and filmmakers, basically. All right. Well, with that, without further ado, to be very cliche today, let's see if I can start the ballyhook. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Now we need to do is we need to move forward. We've seen our little ant. All right. All right. Here we go, folks. Okay. We're bringing up, and unfortunately, we're not seeing the total title. Very intriguing book cover, though. I love it with the skull of the, especially very apropos today. Everybody's so obsessed with skulls. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the name of the book in case they can't read it, because it is got a black background and black of both your book and the cover, and that way we can see a little bit about it. I'm going to bring you up there so that they can see both of us. What's the name of this thing? Just for us,
this is the Biker and the Beauty Queen.
Wow.
And all three of my books are on Amazon Books, and you can just type my name in and they will pop up. And
Excellent.
they are considered novellas or novelettes. They're not really that long. This one is about motorcycle enthusiasts or bikers. And it covers a lot of the issues that in biker gangs and addiction, and it's got a lot of action and adventure. And all of my books are based on my experience, but they're a conglomerate of a lot of different experiences. So I think you'll find it fascinating.
So you're tantalizing your readers with not only the allure of biking, not the wonderful travel, but also you're also touching on some of the serious subjects of biking, which may be more negative than positive to the ordinary folk who don't participate. Is that right?
Yeah, there are biker groups all over the world, and I chose this topic because I had met some people that were in gangs or are motorcycle enthusiasts. And basically, I found that a lot of them are very nice people, and they just have an interest in that lifestyle. So if you're interested in that lifestyle, you'll like this book.
All right. Book number, novelette, whatever we're calling it. I can read this one because The Smartest Man I Ever Knew. I know that's going to be very rare. Let's hear about that one.
Well, this is dealing with a lot of social issues. It's dealing with homelessness. It's dealing with people that are mentally challenged. It's dealing with a lot of things that are going on today that I think anyone that has a family member or a friend that has a mental illness or is mentally challenged or has known homelessness or addiction, they'll like this book. It's actually a very sweet story
Ah,
of
good.
a woman that encountered a person like this and their journey.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you. Well, that's I was going to clarify because, of course, it's extremely topical. There's no doubt about that. But I also wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be like clinical, a documentary per se of one of
Yeah.
those, as opposed to setting it that theme in a story that's going to be, maybe hopefully uplifting, but certainly entertaining to your reader. So I'm glad
Yes,
to hear that. That sounds great.
it's
And
very uplifting.
I'm sorry, say again.
It's very uplifting. And also, I've written three screenplays for each of these, and I hope to have them produced and filmed here in Oklahoma.
Wow, wow. This is real. This is really good. And what I was doing is, see, while we're doing this, I'm trying to, as I promised the audience, let's see if I can bring this up. I'm trying to bring let's see, we got that there, but sorry, folks, I'm slow with the bad eyes. I'm trying to create, here we go. I'm going to
Well,
take
the
the
reason I
scroll off.
started writing,
I'm
I
sorry.
wrote screenplays first, and then they told me that they wanted them based on a book. So I went backwards and wrote books based on my screenplays because I wanted to find work. I couldn't find some work years ago, and I decided I would just write the parts that I would like to be in.
Well, I think that's great. I think that's a great, like I said, not only taking time where you have time to do it, but using it as an apple, so to speak, to link the two together. But so now all of these, just out of curiosity, are they all within a very short time span or spread over years? And we're getting ready to talk about the third book, but what do you say about like what time span did these three novels work within? That you
It was
produced.
over several years.
Okay.
And actually, I was trying to write a part for my son, Chris Wheeler, who is also an actor and had his production company in LA. Right now, he's in South Carolina.
Okay. Well, South Carolina, huh? How did he? Can we ask without being too nosy? How did we?
Well, he likes the area, and they are doing some filming there too.
Well, I sure can't. I've messed this up totally. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it. I just can't get your. Ah,
Oh, I see it.
there we go. Hallelujah. I'm sorry to distract you. Now let's talk about this third book. Again? I'm having a little trouble. I see a couple of words, but what's the title on this one?
It's called 86. It
Ah,
is
okay.
my favorite book, my favorite one that I've written of all of them, and the screenplay is actually, I want to make it into a series, whether it's a web series or a television
Mhm.
series. It's based like Gunsmoke or Cheers or a lot of those series in a restaurant bar because you have a lot of different people coming through there. So you could have a lot of
Sure.
guest stars, but there's a core group of actors that's going to be in this, but it's got action, romance, intrigue. It's also a mystery. It's set in the Midwest, which was the Old West. And back in the day, they had the stagecoaches that had a lot of money on them. And the story goes that it was robbed and that the outlaws hid that money on this property that this single parent has bought to try to update it. It needs a lot of work. And so she's a struggling single mom, but she has a lot of friends around there that are supportive. And eventually, it was gold was found, and but
Right.
that will be on towards the end of the series.
Okay. Without giving anything away, would the title be able to be explained, or that's really the key to the
Well,
whole?
86. Anybody
Uh-huh.
that's been in the bar industry knows when someone's 86, they're kicked out, and so and the subtitle is a romantic mystery, and So it basically, there's going to be a lot of action in this. You're going to have a lot of people coming through that might end up having to be 86. We're
Oh,
talking. We're talking
now
about.
you put it in context, and I have heard the term. I don't hang around bars. I gave up alcohol so long ago, but at the same time, I've heard that term, something being 86. So I've heard it over the years. But thank you. And like you say, you couldn't get a better resource. It kind of reminds me of the old first time I saw something like that was like Hotel years and years ago, where they used a central thing where all the I forgot the famous director and author. He did a lot of books. Anyway, where there were so many people coming and going, and then to draw the story together. So I think it's got all the makings, and I want to talk to you about that after the fact. So let's see what. Anyway, we don't want to
It's not going
bore
to
the
be
people.
boring. It's going to be. It's the storyline. The basic premise is the same, but it's going to have a lot of different people coming through.
I got it. Okay, now we're going to move to movies, and this is a poster breaking them up. Is that correct?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit, like when was this, and how your participation, and then we're going to show a couple of minute video clip. Do you want to say before or after we start the clip? What's better for you?
Oh, I'll go ahead and explain it to you.
Set it up a little bit, yeah.
It's a very cute story, and my favorite stories have a twist to them, so they're not predictable, and it keeps the audience's attention. And instead of like Parent Trap, where he's trying to get his parents back together, he's trying to break them up because they don't get along. And it's a wonderful comedy. So it's just now out in theaters.
Great.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it.
Now, is it also on any of the services or theater only?
I think it is on some of the services.
Okay.
I play the part of a woman that has been married a long time, and the son in this is trying to break up his parents, has brought his mother to meet this man who she's met before, but he thinks is more right for her than his real dad. And he teaches scuba diving. And I'm there with my longtime husband to take scuba lessons.
Cute premise. Let's go ahead and take a look, and then we'll talk about it in a minute, all right?
This is a story about love. As a 15-year-old high school freshman, I know absolutely everything there is to know about it.
Dream on, lover boy.
That is mean. You're mean. You see, my best friend Aaron and I, we run a very specific kind of business. It's $50?
Plus expenses.
You can get her to like me?
No.
I thought that's what you guys do. We create opportunities. Did you guys steal her umbrella? Briefly borrowed it. But one match I would have never made is my parents.
What? That's not what I said.
Oh, you said you didn't like my dress at the funeral.
Are you out of your mind?
I cannot imagine two people more wrong for each other. It's like every day they find something to argue about that's just completely ridiculous.
At least I gave you a compliment.
I'd rather not have the compliment.
You didn't give me one. What do you think?
I think my mission is clear. I have to break them up. Here's what I was thinking. You said my mama with someone. She's happy. We did the same for my dad. He's happy. And I'm happy. We all win.
I am not helping you with this.
I can't do this without you, Aaron.
I'm not sure any of these women are your dad's type. How about Miss Boggs?
Way out of his league.
Well, some women are into artsy guys.
I think you're certifiable.
Yeah, and I think you're bad at telling when a girl's into a guy.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. I get it. I used to blame myself all the time for my parents' problems too, but really, you don't want this.
That's Jason's dad. The divorce hasn't been easy on him. His ex, she got a tummy tuck, and then afterwards, she got addicted to the painkillers, and now she's in rehab, but she looks amazing. So good.
Just because you feel a certain way about somebody doesn't mean you're always going to feel that way.
What's going on? Why are you going out with him?
Who else am I supposed to go out with?
Turns out, this story isn't just about love. It's It's about life.
There was a time your mom was actually pretty freaking cool.
It's messy and confusing and hilarious and stupid.
We were crazy about each other.
And in that way, it's perfect.
All right, really cute. I really like the theme song. It was such a catchy little deal. So tell us anything else you want to tell us about it. Breaking them up. I like it a lot.
Like I said, I'm in the scene where we're taking the lessons, and it's not a boring film at all, because it has a whole different format to it, and it all ages will like this film, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our movies, of course, are really trending toward the younger folk, but I think this can, cover both, because those younger folks are responsible at some point in their lives to their older folk. So I think it's a cute premise to be the reverse, instead of trying to save a marriage that's either falling apart or divorced. It's very cute, very cute. Well, we really appreciate that. Now and you say that's available now in the theaters. But I don't think we haven't seen it here in New Orleans. I'm hoping it does come up. But anyway, if not, folks, you can remember that title, and if you have any of the services, see if they're on there. At last resort, maybe, I don't know if they have it on YouTube. I know the trailer is available in case you want to see the YouTube trailer that we just saw. You can catch that on YouTube. But anyway, let's move on, because she's got another wonderful clip for us. Oh, before we do that, here's a picture of it. Tell us where this was. This is in relation to that film.
Yes, this is, I told you I'm taking scuba diving lessons.
Right.
I have been really scuba diving, and this is in Oklahoma City where we filmed.
I got it. Okay. Well, let's go on and see here's the poster, and we call it posted, so take no offense, of our second clip. And painted lady. What is the title? Painted Woman or Painted Lady?
Yeah, Painted Woman.
Okay. And when was this done?
This was done previous to the last one. Actually, I did another one. But it has not. I don't have the clips or everything for that yet.
Sure.
I actually did that during the COVID, and of course we had to be tested and be very, very careful. So
now, do you know? So has this been released in theaters, or you don't know anything about its release?
The other one, I think you can stream the other one I was mentioning, but this one, this one's out, and you can. It's on various formats.
Okay, so they can check their service to see if it's on under Painted Woman and see it on their tube or cast it to their TV. Is that correct? Great.
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the premise, and then we'll see the clip.
Well, I like this one also because instead of focusing on the man during the Old West, it's focusing on the woman and her plight back then, and how difficult it was, and how she had to survive. And so I was really excited about getting to be involved with it. You'll really like it.
Okay, well, let's take a look, and then we'll talk a little bit more. 1 second.
Never known this kind of kindness. From me. I hate these dinner parties.
Miss Richards, Frank Dean. I'm here to help him with business.
I saw the way you looked at him tonight.
I would never look at another man. I belong to you.
A gentleman should never strike a lady. Get up. You know what he wants me to do. I won't do
She won't be living here anymore.
Brought you here to get you fixed up.
I don't have anybody.
I don't want your money.
If you knew who I was, you would have left me there. I've spent my whole life having men tell me what to do.
Been out here a week. Ain't found none but that.
I've never met people like you before.
I don't think you ever will again.
You kill people.
Only the bad ones.
Would you consider staying?
I want to tell you everything.
All right. Well, that's pretty damn intense, I would think, huh? Can you
it's
hear
got
me?
a lot of action adventure. Yeah, it's basically a romance, and a lot of films. Of course I grew up in the West, so I have always been attracted to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first one was so lighthearted, and then this one seems to go the opposite way. You know, not necessarily dark, but certainly very deep. I have to ask the question though. You know, Painted Woman or Painted Lady has always had its own. I don't know what the word, not anachronism, but I mean definition. And is that here? Are we talking about a totally different thing? Is that particular profession, let's use that, involved in this movie at all?
Yes. Well, she was trying to survive, and that was the only way she could survive at that time. But she I don't want to give the storyline away.
No. I didn't mean to tax you with that. But now
it
you
has
say,
a good ending. Yeah, I was one of the pioneer women, and that was
here
me
for
on
those.
set.
Yeah, for those who didn't catch, this is Dolores in full costume, offset or on set, not actually on camera. But the costumes are great. The settings look great. Do I answer? Well, both of these filmed in Oklahoma or elsewhere?
Yes, both of them were filmed in Oklahoma.
Wonderful.
But my part is a pioneer woman. I'm married and I have a family there, and I'm in a lot of the dance scenes. And in the past, when I first started doing films, I loved dance, and that would be my ticket in, because they needed dancers that knew all the different dances from different eras. And so I really enjoyed it.
Well, you had a great sideline hustle then to bring you in. Another way to bring you into the movies, huh?
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, folks, those were just two of her active participation as an actress in films, and I enjoyed both. And as she said, the first one, we're not sure. The newest one, breaking them up. What was it? I forgot. And this current one, Painted Woman, should be on one of the services. So check on any of the ones you have and see if you can find it, because I know it'd be fascinating to watch. I always cast mine to the big. I got a 75-inch, couple of 75, so we always cast it to the big screen so we can feel like we're in the theater. And that's the only way to see, to me, a movie is on somewhat of a big screen. All right. Well, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a little segue from her acting, because as we mentioned, that not only is she an actress, but she's also an author, which we've seen her novels, but even more so, she's very active in the film industry and promoting her not only her career, but also the industry itself, just like we had to do in New Orleans to attract it from the big boys over in California now out to our west. So tell us a little about this photo. What are we representing here?
I was a volunteer at the Dead Center Film Festival.
And where is that?
It's in Oklahoma City. It's one of the largest in the state. We actually have about 10 festivals across the state now.
Amazing. Is this at a standard repeat annual date, like a month or something like that, or is it just as they see? What's the schedule like for this? Is there a normal one?
Well, the last two have been primarily on Zoom. You can see them on YouTube. But it used to be at the beginning of the summer, but they just finished it this last time this fall. So check the Oklahoma Film and Music website, and it'll have all the information for you.
Do you know, since you're somewhat actively involved with the association, so do you know if they're ever planning to make it in person, not just Zoom?
Oh yes, we just had to follow the
COVID.
Yes.
So COVID has been the dictator of that. So it's not that they didn't want to, because we will definitely follow it. I think it'd be an interesting trip. I love train trips. I don't know if it goes up to Oklahoma City per se, but I've taken them all the way to Chicago. So it'd be interesting. So we'll definitely check it out. All right. Now let's take a look at a couple of more. I know you brought us some more clips from, not clips, but videos, pictures. I'll get the word. Wow. This looks like she's starring right there. What do we have here?
I was one of the presenters at the Bare Bones Film Festival. It's in Muskogee. A very nice couple have a school there, and they sponsor that and had some wonderful films. And one of the films I've been in was there, and so I had a great time.
Great. All right, let's see. And I know we have some more because you're so active in the industry here in all films. Okay, this is great. I love this one. I don't. It reminds me of one of my famous. My problem is being old, but memory not being there. But one of my favorite movies was between a female actress and actor, which of course a love story where she's married and she falls in love with this fantastic artist gentleman who was very well known and who I don't remember, who was European and very attractive, of course. And I hate to say it, I never usually compare, but you have that same type of look here as that actress who's very famous, but I can't remember. So I'm really being ignorant by even talking about it. But I fell in love with this picture. I really did. So tell us, and I know there's a sign behind you. Tell us about it because it's such a great case. I don't know if it's staged, but it looks very candid and very, very, very interesting.
Well, OBEA stands for the Oklahoma Broadcast Education Association. And a man I had worked for asked me if I would like to be a judge. And I did that for several years. The last time I did it was all online. And so I was one of the judges for all the students and the films throughout the film schools. There's about 10 film schools here now. But I was real afraid that I wanted to make sure I was being fair and judging it properly. And when it was all said and done and we all compared our notes, we basically said the same thing. So there was about a half a dozen judges there. So I guess I judged right because we were all judging them the same.
Great. Well, I'm going to interrupt you there for a second and put a plug in for our festival, the New Orleans Film Festival, which is pretty damn old. I think it's its 23rd or 24th year. I've been involved since the second year. That's how old I am. And we've grown to great status. We present all genres of films running a week. In fact, it's coming up in November. Usually it's earlier, but again, pushed back because of COVID. But it's starting in about a week. Not this weekend, but the following, where you can catch not only what we call spotlight or what I call commercially released films in an evening, but also all the other genres during the day, like narrative shorts, music videos. We do full-length features. I've been a screener for 22 years with it. And that way, because to me, I love full-length features, and that's what we do. So we're encouraging you to check us out. And what I would like to do is talk to the people at the Oklahoma State Festival, if I got the right term, and let's see about maybe coordinate, maybe to encourage some of the filmmakers, especially once we learn the true months that the two festivals will be next year. Because maybe if yours has already occurred, it would be great to submit some of your if it's still time, to our festival, some of your artists or filmmakers, to get them another look at another festival. I think it would be great. It's great for their resume. Plus, it really broadens their audience beyond their territorial state. So we'll need to talk about that as we keep our communication going over the year. All right, let's see. I think we have. Is it one more pick? Let me just see here. Yeah, this is very interesting. So tell us what this is here. What are we looking at?
Well, it's just a summation of our film festivals and our film schools, and we have two studios now. Prairie Surf is one of them, and Green Pastures is the other one. And they have everything that you need. They're big sound studios. We also have a lot of film schools. They're always looking for new filmmakers and crew. We have the locations. We have a wide variety of locations. The terrain here is diverse, and the people are very friendly and very nice to work with.
Excellent. Well, you're great spokesman for them. Now, as you said, the festival just occurred, the state one. Is that right or no?
Yes. Also, I am a member of the SAG-AFTRA.
Yes.
And I'm on the regional board in Dallas, Texas, representing the state of Oklahoma. And they have all kinds of new contracts. They have contracts for students. They have contracts for independent films as well. So check out their website. They're a wealth of knowledge, and you can call them, and they're extremely helpful.
That's fantastic. That's what we're here for as well. Because originally we started off Betty, because I've been there, throughout the history, with predominantly just commercial films and a few submissions, which grown to thousands. And not only that, we with the whole direction of our country, with regard to be all inclusionary, we now have all these additional films which we had never seen in the different ethnic groups that can do it, where we actually they provide grants and all for the filmmakers, whether they're students or not, to develop their trade and to get exposure through this festival and beyond. So it's been a wonderful experience, and I think almost all the festivals are leaning toward that, depending on their financial ability, obviously, to work with them. But that's what's so cool about it. It's not, and especially today, since anyone can make a film, whether it's just through a camera, a phone, or whatever. It's good to get some of that beyond just the telephone exposure, as opposed to getting most of these films shown hopefully on the big screen. Okay, but we really have finished fairly early our pictures, so that's great. In one respect, usually we take a lot more time, but I think you've got a nice overview. Let me mention something to the audience. One is that I forgot my old mind. If no matter what platform you're watching us, whether it's any of ours, the Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you can actually make a comment, just like if you were talking to someone on that, or doing anything that you would do on your cell phone or your laptop. You can make a comment, and the comment will show up here, identifying whatever name you go under and which platform you're coming from. We can bring those online, but more importantly, we want to address those. Not only thank you for watching, but sometimes watching the programs, obviously, will develop questions. So this is our way for you to get a question to Dolores or myself, but probably Dolores, and get those answered while we're still on the air. So don't hesitate to send us any comments you'd like, and we will hopefully, should be open. I think it is with my bad eyes. Now let's go back and let's recap a little bit. Again, we had the pleasure of talking and seeing and presenting Dolores Wheeler of Oklahoma, current Oklahoma resident, who's very active not only in the front of the screen, but also behind the screen, not so much in the production of the films, but in the support of the films and the film industry and her fellow actors with SAG, with SAG. Say again.
Well, when I did low budget and no budget films, I did work on the production side because
Oh,
we had to, and I worked all
I didn't mean to
facets.
short. I didn't mean to short. I didn't mean to shortchange your talent. Excuse me. Excuse me.
But
So that's it.
I like being a front mostly. It's there's a lot of technical aspects to being on the production side. But I forgot
Oh
to
my
mention
goodness.
that we're in the top 10 of all the states in the nation that offer the best film incentives. That's why it's become a mecca for the film industry, because
Yeah.
you can do a film here at a better price than you can many other places.
Right. Right. I understand. And that, I hate to say it, but that is the draw, the lead. Sometimes even more so than what really, because so many times the films are made and they don't really have the locations that they need, so they improvise, which is all right. But at the same time, so many of our all of the places where they're producing films have their own locations in their own way, and they can be, presented to almost any film that you could think of. So we're really glad to hear that y'all are doing well. Our only situation is just like we did when we changed political structures way back. We lost it all to a neighboring state who hadn't really done anything, because all they had to do was increase or really create incentives, and they were ready to jump because they didn't have that many other opportunities throughout the nation. Nowadays, we're glad we're kind of getting more to an even playing field where it's not one has the incentive and nobody else, so everything's going to move that way. But what's really good in doing it is that it not only gives the jobs to folks like yourself who are predominantly behind the camera, in front of the camera, but also to all the wonderful technicians, writers, stagehands, so the industry is universal that the ordinary citizen never even thinks of. The viewer, they just look at what's produced, the product. But that's what's so great about it. Studios are built or conversion from things, and all the different accessories to making a film or a TV series grows and gives support to the local, hopefully in most situations to the local vendor. Okay.
Yes, the politicians I've been very, very supportive. We all got together, and I talked to them, communicated with them often, and they realized that it brings a lot of work to our state, and so it helps the people. And so they were very supportive of the film industry here and the music industry as well. We've had so many talented people come from this state, if you think about it, that went to either coast or went to Nashville, and we want to keep our talent here. So that's part of it.
Great. What you mentioned about music. Now, of course, every place has music per se, but I don't, of course, I guess being biased or subjective, we associate New Orleans with jazz and, big time music in that regard. Can you tell me, is there a particular genre of music that really illustrates the state or a particular portion of the state?
Oh, I would think country music for sure.
Okay.
But there's all kinds of music.
Okay, sure. It's just we just don't I don't, and being very narrow-minded, automatically think of Oklahoma and music as equal partners. So we're glad to hear that they do also offer the opportunities for the musicians, whether it's in hopefully live clubs or concerts, but also perhaps some in some of these film productions, because to me, audio is just as important as video, even though they always say the picture's worth 1,000 words. But if you don't have good audio, not only speaking, but also musically, appropriate, you're not gonna get a lot of interest. Anyway.
Yeah, we have the top of the line recording studios here as well.
Great.
And musicians and singers for sure.
I'll tell you how naive and how I don't prepare for the show. Can you just give me and I hope I'm not taxing you, just an overall population estimate for Oklahoma City, for the capital? Is that the capital, correct? Oklahoma City?
I consider it a small city. It's very easy to get around. I lived in Houston.
Oh, wow.
I lived in LA. Talk
Yeah,
about traffic.
yeah.
And I visit Dallas often because a lot of my family is from Dallas, and this is super easy to get
Yeah.
around. So it's
There are
just
others that so
it's
Atlanta
awesome.
too, are so spread around, and New Orleans is different because we originally was a much larger city. We were close to 1 million, which is not huge, but I'm saying for southeast Louisiana, southeast coast, 1 million people was pretty darn good way back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. But our unfortunate situation of Katrina, that first hurricane that devastated our city, we lost half of our population in
Wow.
2005. So we went down to, at that time it was almost 900,000 just in the main city, and it went down to less than 400,000. And
Well, the
what
cost of
happened
living
is
here is reasonable,
and we're
very reasonable.
slowly going back up. But what's good about it is that I call it a small town with urban amenities. We have all the wonderful things that the big cities like New York, Chicago. We have wonderful food, wonderful music, fantastic history, architecture, and culture, and on a much smaller scale. So to us, I love it. That's why I would never move. I've been to all those places, but I couldn't live there. I don't want all those people. So what you're doing is even demonstrating an affinity toward our city as well. So I'm very glad to hear that. Okay, let's see. Well, I just can't believe we're finishing early. Is there anything more you want to tell us about it? Because we don't want to shortchange you, but I guess we went rapid fire during the video clips.
I do love New Orleans, and you can't beat the food and the music. And I was actually in the Bacchus Parade at one time.
Wow,
So, and the
congratulations.
architecture, the history, it's fabulous. It is a wonderful
Thanks.
city.
Well, I wasn't trying to, give you a promotion for us, but I was just trying to draw an analogy because I didn't believe your city was as big as some of the others, so I was hoping that was the case, that we're on, a similar alignment, give or take X number of people. And because yours has a lot more rural, that really adds your landscaping to it. Whereas ours is, we don't have mountains, okay, or even hills. So we can't do that. But we have
We have
magnificent lakes. I'm sorry.
we
Go
have
ahead.
sort of small mountains. There's a mountain range in one part of the state, a desert area, a
Right.
swamp area. Of course, a lot of pastures. We have the Cowboy Hall of Fame here. We have
Do you really?
a lot to
Is
see.
that is there such a thing as the Cowboy Hall of Fame?
Yes, it's in Oklahoma City.
Wow. Is it long standing or something relatively new?
It's been there for years.
Wow. You see, folks, you're getting more and more enticement to go to Oklahoma City, whether it's to go see the fabulous movie productions or to hear their music, or now to actually see the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Very, very interesting. Learning a lot of bits and pieces about Oklahoma City. Well, we're going to go ahead and sign off a little early. I hope you don't mind. I don't want to shortchange you, but I'm not thinking of a lot of other questions unless there's any other promo that you want to do with regard to your other films or participation in these other activities. You have the free reign before we sign off. But if not, then I'm just going to tell the folks rather just bore them with chit chat that might not be of information. So anything else you want to tell us about yourself or
Well,
about
if
the
you
career?
just type my name in any of the social media, Facebook, YouTube,
Good.
Twitter, so many of them
Yeah.
that all my film information, my books will pop up, and I think I'm on every social media you can imagine.
Good.
And I love
Well,
connecting with the people. Of course, during the COVID, that's what we had to do.
of
But
course.
it's nice to connect with people all over the world.
Definitely so. And that's one of the greatest advantages of the internet as opposed to TV. Even though TV is, the big channels, yes, but the localized stuff is very narrow in its reach. But folks, have you seen, we have fixated the website for Dolores. And to me, all you would need to remember is imdb.com. Now, when you say name, is that Dolores or just the word name?
That's name, but if you type my name in, if you get on the site, it's the Internet Movie Database. Anybody that's involved in film is going to be on this site.
Okay.
And
then
all of it will pop up.
I see. And remember, folks, it's spelled Delores. Some people spell Dolores with an I, but yours is Delores, correct?
Yeah, so when I joined the Screen Actors Guild, I've always thought it was odd that my parents gave me that spelling. That's my real name, but I was the only one. So, and I'm also in Actors Equity, and I was the only one with that spelling of my name at that time.
Well, you should be thrilled because that sets you out from the. Now, what I'm saying for people who don't pay attention, they might type in Dolores with the I, but the important thing, the uniqueness of the name, I think, even though it's commonality in the pronunciation, but in the spelling, that uniqueness, I think, is great. I really do. So congratulations on your parents being so fortuitous. Huh? They were prophetic.
Yes, we also have 3 equity theaters here. And a lot of
Theaters?
people don't know.
Active theater? Now, you mean for stage or for film production?
Yes.
Or both?
And
so
we're off Broadway, way off Broadway, but we do have some very quality theaters here also.
And all 3 are in Oklahoma City, or you mean throughout the state?
The 3 I'm speaking of are in Oklahoma City.
Wow, congratulations. Okay, Dolores, you've been a delight. We appreciate you making our Friday morning. For those who didn't see it, Dolores can send you the link if you want to contact her, or you could go on and I would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel after today, or anytime from today on, or space REVUE. That's youtube.com. And that way you can revisit this, or it's more convenient, especially some of our international viewers who won't be watching at this time because either it's in the evening or they're still late at work. But the important thing is we really appreciate coming back. Don't forget the 3 programmings coming up with the Boo Parade on Saturday night, 6:30 Central. Monday, Chef William Bartlett from Lake Roden, I think, Resort in Montana. And next Wednesday, the 27th, Harold Howard from Pennsylvania Artist. Okay, until that time, once again, we want to thank you, Dolores. You've been a delight. And don't forget, tell some more of the Oklahoma film or TV community, actors or behind the scenes, to give us a contact. We'd love to, spread the word. That just, even though you're the great spokesman, we would certainly spread it around and see the wonderful talent they have in the state. Okay.
All right. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Take care. Enjoyed it here as well. Bye-bye. Okay, folks. Well, that was Real Revue, as we call it. All of our productions, or 90% of our productions, are under the production company or space REVUE. And the first word always identifies the program. I've just told you about our upcoming 3. So we want to say adieu, goodbye, or whatever word, ciao, not ciao, probably not. Aloha, both ways, or whatever it is. Anyway, enough of this bother from a wandering old man. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. For those who've never seen a New Orleans parade, this is like a New Orleans, using similar type floats, but all dedicated to the Halloween theme. So it'll all be scary stuff. All right. Until such time, we will see you, as we say, stay tuned and longer.